Michael, I'm the host of Raw Deal.
Glad to meet you.
For telling your story today, we're going to give you the official My Raw Deal t-shirt.
All right.
Hopefully that's your size.
Yeah, it looks like it. Well, thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Very kind of you.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm just an ordinary guy. My Raw Deal actually has to do with my father. Okay, he's no longer with us, so I'm here to tell his.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm here to tell his story, and I want to thank you all too for. I've been holding this story in for so long. There was never anybody to tell it to, and now Raw Deals let me have the opportunity to tell the world about it.
We're happy to do that. So
thank you.
Take it from the top.
Okay, well, this happened a while back, about 10 years ago, and I was working, and I got a call from my brother saying, you got to hurry up and get over to the father's apartment because the cops are there.
Now, does your father live alone at this point?
Yes, he lived alone in an apartment. I owned the apartment, but he lived alone by himself there.
Was his health in question at this point?
Well, he's anytime he left the house, he had to be in a wheelchair.
Okay.
He could probably stand up and maybe walk 3 or 4 steps.
But he wasn't paralyzed.
He wasn't paralyzed, but he couldn't walk, but
Okay.
maybe 5 feet or so before he had to sit back down again.
So you said that your brother called you.
Yeah, brother called me and told me to get over there because A, I'm the official owner of that apartment. B, our father's in, the priest over there with our father. So I went over there thinking that maybe something was wrong with his health or something,
Well, naturally, that would be the first assumption.
Mm-hmm. So I go over there, I expected to see maybe 1 cop car and then an ambulance or something like that.
Now, did you see any ambulances?
No, didn't see any ambulances at all, just cop cars. So I went in, and there my father was. He was sitting in his recliner with handcuffed behind his back, with his hands handcuffed behind his back.
Now, is there any reason why the police would have a reason to think he's a threat?
No, I don't think so. I mean, he's a real old guy. He could barely move.
So
now,
he couldn't harm anyone?
No, he could not harm a fly.
So what was the point of being in handcuffs?
Well, they told me later on that they were afraid, okay, that was for their protection, okay, because they were afraid he might jump up somewhere and get some hidden weapon that he had in the apartment and attack them with it.
How did the cops come about to showing up?
Okay, here's what happened. He gets lonely time to time, okay? I tried to go over there as much as I could, but I couldn't make it there every day. But
Right.
And every now and then he'd get lonely because my mother had died a couple years before and he was by himself. So what he did this one time is he had saw an advertisement on TV about a senior citizens helpline. And we said, he called that and to see if they'll talk for a while. He's wanted somebody to talk to.
Now, did he normally call a hotline, or was this the first time
This
he
is the first
called?
time he'd ever called them.
Okay.
Okay.
And so what happened when he called this particular hotline?
He called there and he talked with them for a while. Okay, this is all what he told me and this collaborated.
Kind of
Okay. He talked to them for a while, just normal conversation, and then the person there on the other side, it was a woman, asked him if he had ever thought about doing harm to himself, and he said that no, he'd never do anything like that. He may be lonely, but he wouldn't do that. It's it's against his religion for one thing.
Was it a suicide hotline, or was it just
No, it's a regular senior citizen hotline, not a
Okay.
suicide hotline. But I guess they must be trained to ask that question.
Now,
And
so-
then she asked a question that's kind of odd. She asked, okay, you wouldn't do that, but if you were going to harm yourself, okay, how would you do it? My father is a fairly intelligent man.
Well, it's a strange question.
It's a strange question. If somebody asked me that, I would probably give them an answer too. And that's what he did, is he gave them an answer. He said, well, I have all these pills here. He takes a lot of pills. And also, I have an old pistol way up in the corner of the closet. I guess I could do that. But it was just a rhetorical question, he thought.
And did that raise alarms?
It seemed to have, because as soon as he mentioned the word pistol, and it was an old thing that I don't think it's ever been fired. I don't think he even has bullets for it, to tell you the truth. He just brought it up there just to make him feel a little bit safer.
Okay.
And they continue on the conversation after that. And then later on, the lady on the phone says, there's a police chaplain outside that would like to talk to you.
Outside of his apartment?
Outside of his apartment.
How did they get his address?
I guess they have it on the thing.
Okay.
The caller ID stuff
Right.
and stuff. Police have ways of doing that. And
So the police show up, and is he able to get to the door?
Yeah, the chair is right beside the door. He was able to stand up. Now, to stand up, he can't just stand up like you and I. It's a whole process. It takes about 2 or 3 minutes to get him to stand up, which makes it harder for him to jump up and grab something. and he walks over there, and he walks out the door and kind of looks around. He, trying to find this police chaplain. And about that time, he gets tackled.
Did they give any warning?
No, they were just tackling.
And so from that point on, what happened?
They handcuffed him right there, put him into the chair, kind of walked him into there and put him in the chair. And then one of them must have contacted my brother or something. He may have told him to call or something.
Right.
But anyway, when I got there, I asked the policeman, please, release him. He's crying. He's got arthritis and bursitis in the shoulders, and it's really painful.
They still didn't release him?
No, they said no, they couldn't do that because they were afraid he was going to jump up and hurt somebody.
But ultimately, he called this hotline to just to talk to someone.
Just to talk to somebody, and for some reason, because he answered that question.
Did he get charged with anything? Did they take him in? What happened after?
What happened was they Baker Acted him. In Florida,
what does that mean?
Yeah, in Florida, there's something called the Baker Act,
okay,
where a doctor can put you in for psychiatric evaluation if he thinks you're a threat to yourself or the others.
Now, just because he answered that one particular question,
yes,
that was grounds enough to be Baker Acted?
According to the psychiatrist that I talked to.
What
yes.
did they expect you to answer to that question?
I talked to the actual psychiatrist that did Baker Act him, and he said the only correct answer to that question is, when they ask you, well, if you were going to, how would you do it? You're supposed to say, well, I'm not going to, so I have no idea how to do it.
That's the only answer.
If you don't give that answer,
you're going to end up like
you're going to end up in the psych ward at
dad.
ORMC for at least 3 days.
Well, Michael, I'm really sorry to hear about your father. Hopefully we can get some justice through telling his raw deal, and maybe this won't happen to someone else.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate the opportunity.
No problem. And now it's your turn. Go to myrawdeal.com now and vote for which story you think got the rawest deal. Will it be story number 1, story number 2, or maybe story number 3? The choice is yours. Log on to your computers right now at www.myrawdeal.com and vote now. I'm your host, Anthony Castaneda. Thanks for watching.